My name is Christopher. I have HSV2 down here. A disclaimer, this is not medical advice. If you want less information, talk to a doctor. This is the 3 tips I can give you to move forward with your life post-diagnosis. Now, whether it's HSV1, HSV2, up here, down there, doesn't matter. These are the 3 tips that I suggest you guys implement that help me definitely figure out how my life is going to be even better now that I have herpes. And number 1 is going to be researching the virus. So when I first got diagnosed, I Googled everything. How does this work? What are the commonalities? What's the transmission? How does it work? Where does it stay in your body? I wanted to know as much as I could find on the actual virus, not only for my own knowledge of how to live with it, but also so that I could educate others or provide information to potential partners so they feel more at ease. And this is truly going to help you understand, hey, the virus never leaves your body. Symptoms are not always there. Where does it live? It's in your nervous system. Stuff like that. And the more information you have, the better you're going to be able to articulate those thoughts to future partners. Also, on the topic of researching the virus, you're probably going to find out that herpes is also not just genital herpes. It's cold sores, aka oral herpes as well. It's chicken pox is also herpes. These are all things that I only then realized were encompassing in the idea of herpes, which then kind of opened my eyes more to why the stigma doesn't make sense and why terminology doesn't make sense and how herpes is essentially less about the actual virus and more about having sex and the stigma. And it's do your research on the virus and that'll help. Number 2 is going to be research the stigma. Why is there a stigma? Where did it come from? How did it start? What is the stigma actually about? And then you can kind of base your own opinion of yourself with fact checking the stigma. So does the stigma actually have any weight, or is it just sort of fabricated? Is it because of drug companies? No, it's not. But the stigma is mostly just because media, articles and stuff, or judgment, or society's expectations or views on sex. None of it is really based on medical facts. It's mostly just based on someone sharing their thoughts about being sexually active or what people should do in society, or, painting an image of the kind of people that would contract herpes, and then the reinforcement of that idea throughout years and years and years. The other thing I'm going to say about the stigma is that because there's no long-term health consequences to herpes, people are going to make herpes jokes and get a laugh, but if you make a cancer joke, it's probably going to hit too close to home. So the actual idea that herpes is not going to cause any lifelong issues directly causes the stigma to be prevalent because, hey, let's throw in a herpes joke and get a laugh. And then if that gets a laugh, people will reinforce the idea, hey, herpes is funny, herpes is gross. And the sad part about that is that the people who feel so ashamed of their herpes and want to speak out against it are too ashamed to actually speak out, thus meaning that no one is actually ever going to call out the stigma and be like, hey, I don't like this, stop. It wouldn't make a difference because the stigma is going to, but maybe I can make a difference. Anyways, 3rd point is going to be self-development. So throughout the course of my life, I looked into a lot of different self-development stuff when it comes to philosophy or different aspects or different techniques. And I looked into Stoic philosophy, and I realized that you can't have control over the things that happen to you, but you have control over how you react to it. Now, not to go too in depth, but getting herpes actually improved my life. And whilst it may be difficult for some people to initially think that, you can't change what happened to you, but you can kind of find a silver lining or find a reason why this won't hold you back. Because even if your life seems doomed, do you want to spend your whole life feeling like it's doomed, feeling like this is the last thing you want it to happen and the worst thing that could have happened and what's going to completely ruin your life? And maybe for some people it will, but I hope that at some point you realize hey, I can't just let this loom over me my whole life. And I do have proof that other people are living their life. And I don't know how good my life can be until I snap out of this, mindset. And it's totally normal to feel this way. I felt terrible. And then I realized hey, I don't want to feel so terrible about this long term. So what can I do? I can't get herpes, but I can try to make myself the best possible version of myself, look into this, build my confidence, try dating, because you're going to be single forever unless you try dating. You can't get an acceptance unless you put yourself out there. So look into Stoic philosophy, look into self-improvement, whether it's your physical health, mental health, spiritual health, financial health. Make yourself someone that people would want to date regardless of your herpes status. And that way you're going to be at your best so that people don't see your herpes as such a big deal. Anyways, those are the 3 tips I would suggest. If you want more advice, shoot me an email or more help in the description box. Love you, miss you, hope you're doing well. See you guys in the next video.